Houston, we've got big tractor problems. Uh-oh. Hey there, folks. This is Josh, Stoney Ridge Farmer. Welcome back to another beautiful day here on the Stoney Ridge Farm. The cows are down here mooing. We've got a lot of fun stuff to do. The cows want to be moved. They're mooing so they can be moved, and we're going to be using the Woods Precision Super Seeder today. So we're going to overseed some pasture today. We're going to show you how I move the cows across the yard. They're actually going to come up through the yard here behind me and up to the pasture that's behind the house, and it's got tons of awesome forage on it. We're going to be rotationally grazing them. We'll show you a little bit of the setup for our rotational grazing system and for this cattle move, and we'll hook up the Big T, the TYM T1104 tractor, to the Woods Precision Super Seeder. Now, the Precision Super Seeder is in the carport. The carport building is too short to get the TYM tractor in, so we got some finagling to do. It's going to be a good time, guys. Let's have some fun. Woo! Stoney Ridge. Stoney Ridge Farm. Woo! All right, friends, welcome to the Stoney Ridge Farm channel. If this is your first time here, please jump in, pound that like button, subscribe to the channel. I'd love to have you back if you like this kind of stuff. If you don't like it, click off the video. It's all good. We're gonna have some fun either way. So what I have here is IntelliBraid. This is poly braid wire. We're gonna take a piece of 1x oak that I keep on the ATV, and we're gonna use that 1x to go ahead and wind the Speed Right reel. Okay, so the Speed Right reel, we're gonna tie our wire off to it, and it's really interesting. So your wire hits this and it energizes everything metal on here, so you can hang it onto a hot wire and it will energize the entire reel, or you can hang it onto the handle and it won't energize the entire reel. So you got to remember, don't touch the metal. So what we've got to do, and this is a bit of a struggle the first time I did it, so I want to show you guys what I found. Take your wire, your poly braid, or whatever poly wire you might be using if you're intensive grazing or if you're considering this. Take your wire, run it through, and you're going to tie it off. Okay, so we'll go right in here. We'll tie it off, very simple. If you can tie a knot, you can do this part. And we're just gonna do a regular old plain old granny knot. We're gonna tie 2 granny knots in there, or square knots, and we're gonna start reeling. So we wanna reel in the wire in the direction of flow. That way, so it pulls tight this way. There's a little tab, a little flip tab down here. I'll show you before we start reeling. Right there, that's the flip tab. That releases it, that locks it. So it locks it into place and holds it tight onto the reel. What we're gonna do, we'll get this guy. This can be a disaster, or it can go smooth as silk. I'm hoping for smooth as silk. Typically, it's better to have 2 people, but reeling this onto this reel is fast. I mean, it rock and roll. This is a geared reel, so it moves. All right, so it's doing good, doing what it should. You gotta load these reels up. They don't come pre-wound or anything like this, and I believe this is a 1/2 mile of poly wire. We have in use right now on the farm, oh gosh, 3 miles of this IntelliBraid poly wire. So it's awesome. I'll post links to all this stuff down in the video description. We also work with Farm Fence Solutions for our step-in post. The strain right step-in posts are awesome. They keep our cows up when we want them up. I have not used them as a permanent exterior fence. In other words, they're just for cross fencing. So this is what I use for cross fencing for our intensive grazing operation. We'll move the cows on this new spot, and we're gonna keep them on there for 1 day and move them to the next spot. I'm not doing the Greg Judy method of every 12 hours. It's too labor intensive, but we are intensively grazing. I think you get this. I'm gonna go ahead and wind this reel up. I will give you a pro tip here. Do not wind it up all the way. Leave about 1/2 inch of space right here, or you will be fighting this thing. You'll be fighting it later on because it's gonna try to come off of the reel. It's not fun, not at all. So I'll get busy. You guys hear the cows? They know it's move time. Oh, this is normal. So your IntelliBraid is gonna go into this handle right here, and this handle comes with the SpeedRite reel. It is awesome. This handle you can make yourself also. You've seen it in a past video of mine where we took a piece of PVC pipe and a piece of wire and just put it through there. But this is hot with the metal, and this is cold with the plastic, okay? So what we gotta do is drop that real quick. We're back. We gotta bring this poly braid, again, not just plain old poly wire, poly braid. We're gonna bring that poly braid right through that loop, and we're gonna try and give it the most contact it can possibly have with that metal surface, okay? Because this is your bread and butter. If we use a knife right, there we go. Sometimes you might have to nip off the end if it starts to fray. It's all good. An inch, missing an inch of this is a whole lot easier than, than having to figure out another way. So here we go, wrapping it around probably 3 times. That's a good sharp knife on that Gerber. I like a Gerber tool. Guys, post a comment, tell me what you think. Tell me if you like Gerber tools. Go through there, just like so. We'll go back through one more time and we'll be ready to tie our knot. IntelliBraid is very powerful. It carries the juice really well, but inside here are nylon strings. On the outside here are nylon strings with woven, I believe it's aluminum in there. Correct me if I'm wrong. So we're gonna tie a knot just like we'd tie on a fishing lure. So I go around 2, 3, I believe it's called a 1/2 hitch knot. This is how I tie on my fishing lures. Guys, tell me if I'm wrong about doing that. But we'll tie that knot on there, and it's kind of a slip knot, so there we go. Pull it nice and snug and tight. The cows are fussing, man. Okay, we're ready. We're tied off, ready to rock and roll. This is ready to hook up. We're gonna go up here, we're gonna hook this poly line, we're gonna run it down, we're gonna put it in our step-in posts, which are already positioned. If it's dry weather, you're gonna have trouble getting these step-in posts in the ground. So if you think about it ahead of time and you get a rainstorm and you know you got to move your cows, go on and put your step-in post in while it's wet outside. Don't make the same mistake that I've made in the past. You can't get them in the ground when it's hard as a rock. We don't have any topsoil. The solar charger I use is called the IntelliShock. This is the IntelliShock 60. We also have 120s on the other side of the farm. I think that'll do around 5 miles of fence. That is a lot of solar power right there. This thing's all set up and it's easy to hook up and take loose. I clip this onto my fence because we have metal post, or you can use a ground wire, and then I hook this up to the hot wire. That's it, that's simple. Easy, portable, and nice. Here is the step-in post. This is a Stoney pigtail step-in post. What I do is I just make a loop just like that, and I put it over top of the step-in post. Very, very simple. This one is going to be energized, and the one over next to the forest is not gonna be energized, and I haven't even put that in yet. We're gonna run down with that, and then we're gonna release the cows and bring them up here. The reason I'm doing this one energized and the one toward the forest non-energized is because they're more likely to run out in the field than they are in the forest, and they respect this wire. So they already know, if they're trained to the hot wire, they know to avoid it. They'll keep a wide berth. They'll keep at least that far away from it, most of the time about that far away. Let's go get them. So we're gonna hook this guy up. It doesn't matter which one we hook it up to, but typically we just hook it up to the cold side, the plastic side. What we're gonna do, go ahead and get her hooked up, and we'll take our reel, and this is a pretty cool trick. We'll flip our reel upside down and we'll unroll it. That's a little bit of a jog, but here comes the ladies. Woo, girls. Woo, girls, come on. Woo, girls. Woo, girls. Woo, girls. first thing they do is run to the other fence, which is not energized. So that should be interesting. Woo, girls! We got 2 calves that are always troublesome, and those 2 calves are stuck down there in the pen that they were just in. So we'll leave the gate open. We're gonna go down there and round up those 2 calves, okay? Be right back. Wait, they're coming, they're coming. Woo, girls! This is so cute. Check them out. They're running up here like, dude, I'm missing it, I'm missing it. And the donkeys always bring up the rear. Woo! Woo, girls! Woo! Here come those 2 calves. Woo, girls! This is their first time moving up here, so everything looks very strange to them. There's a cat over in the bushes and it freaked them out a little bit. Woo, girls! So see how they run through the gate? Woo! Yeah, pretty cool, huh? We got one straggler out here. Get your butt in here, girl. Is that Susie Sue? Susie? That's Susie. Susie's spoiled brat. Oh, so Susie's balking at that too. So she sees that, and that's the shocker. Come on. Woo, girl. Woo, girl. Yeah. They're a little bit freaked out by the noise that the IntelliShock electric fence was making. Pretty cool. All right, let's go get the tractor and I'll show you the situation I've got down there. I've got chains. It involves chains, it involves pulling, it involves tractor, and it involves fun. So here's the hillbilly debacle. First of all, that's a 1950 Willys Jeep, by the way. I picked that up for a deal. That's not popcorn. Popcorn, if you follow the channel, is in the shop. It's still in pieces. It will be put together. That's not popcorn, but that's a cool Jeep. We'll ride around in it one day together. So what I've got here is I parked the seed drill in here with the green tractor. Well, the green tractor would fit underneath here, underneath this carport, but Big T, the red tractor, will not fit in here. So I have a chain set up and you guys are gonna love this. Check it out. So I took a chain and I ran it through each portion of the 3-point. Then I brought the 2 chains together right here to where this pin goes into the back of Big T. So that's the hillbilly debacle that we're in. Now, Big T, our TYM T1104 tractor, this thing is a monster of a tractor, is big. I mean, it takes a lot of room to move this thing around. So I've got to pull forward because if I backed up, I almost hit the building and I just happened to look up. I've got to pull forward. Hopefully there's enough room right here. This is where our garden's gonna go and I haven't even started on the garden. We're gonna bring Earl, the tractor, out of hiding and till up this garden pretty soon. But hopefully I can pull her on out, hook her up, and then we'll go up here and we'll fill up with grass seed. We're using a specific type of grass seed and we're using some clover seed, and we'll show you how all that works, and we'll also show you how the PSS works, the precision super seeder. Awesome. Contact. Now that worked like a charm, dude. Holy cow. I did find out when I moved it, as soon as I moved it, I've got a wasp nest somewhere down in there that we might need to start scratching our head. So we might bounce it around the farm a little bit before I start putting grass seed in here. This is the precision super seeder, and how it works is you have spiked rippers or rollers up here in the front. Those kind of tear up the land just a little bit. You have a spiked roller in the middle portion right here. You have 3 seed bays. This seed bay is for summertime native grasses. This seed bay is for cool season grasses, and this is for clover and small seeds like millet. The only bay we're gonna use on this today is the clover bay, and I'll show you, I made a mistake, I'll show you that, and the cool season grass bay. Now, that is bird poop because we've got a bird nest up here. I'm glad it's not all over the Jeep. So this thing will get a good washing after we get done here. Nice, that's a precision super seeder. On the back side, so it drops grass seed down through tubes. On the back side is a cultipacker, and that cultipacker rolls over it. You're gonna get some awesome drone footage of this thing at work. Let's go fill it up after we hook it up. Guys, one of my favorite features about this tractor is the push button on the rear. So in other words, when you get out here to hook up a 3-point implement, you can control it from the rear fender, not just from inside the tractor. So this has the Bosch electronic control system on it. A lot of people stray away from electronics, but that's what tractors are going to nowadays, and this is super, super handy for hooking up a heavy, heavy 3-point implement like this right here. So we've got to extend our hydraulic top link and we'll get all hooked up. So this is a Cat 2 or Cat 3 implement, and this is a Cat 3 right here. So we'll slide the shim inside, just like so, and then we'll slide our pin in. That's it. Now this has a little bit of a different setup than most top links. This has a floating top link. In other words, we don't need that. The top link floats inside this slot right here. If I can get the pin in, I'm sure I can, there we go. And the top link will go back and forth, and that allows this thing to cruise along the ground. Really cool. We're gonna raise up the 3-point a little bit here. Now you can see what I mean by that top link. So we'll bring that top link in. There we go, and we'll level her out. So this has a bar in place. This bar goes back and forth and changes the angle of direction of our rippers in the front, or our spiked rollers in the front, depending on how much we want to tear up the ground ahead of the machine. We pull a pin right down here, slide it out, and we can adjust however we like, just like so. So it's indexed down in here, and this is basically a big wrench almost. So we're gonna tear up the ground, pretty vigorously on this one. So I'm gonna set that back in place. We'll go ahead and drop our pin. Now we're set up to rip just a little bit extra for this soil that we're gonna be working up today. Let's go load up our seed boxes. Man, that air conditioning's nice. Guys, don't be jealous of my Gen 2 Dodge. That's the Unicorn Dodge truck right there. I bought that truck with 121,000 miles on it about 6 years ago. I got about 145,000 on it now. It's the 24 valve Cummins. Nice, Laramie leather. What a beautiful truck. It's a shame it's sitting out here in the sun. Shame on me. So let's open up the seed hoppers and show you what's up. Okay. There's one bag. Here's another bag. And you guys are gonna laugh because this is my clover. It's in here. Let me show you the mistake that I made last fall. I left some clover seed in the seed drill. Don't leave seed in your seed drill. If you do that, plan to pay for it. And we're gonna have to fix that problem right now. We're gonna have to blow out the seed drill. I'll open it up and show you. Inside the hopper here, in the clover hopper, there are individual little divots right here, kind of like funnels. And inside the funnels are little gears, okay? Those gears turn. This is what happens when you let moisture get to it. So that it gets kind of hard, so we gotta break that up a little bit. We might not have to blow it out. I think we can just break it up. I'm just gonna use a stiff bristled brush to break all that mess up in there. I think we'll be just fine. This thing is driven by the big rollers on the bottom, okay? So it's not driven by PTO. If you don't have one of these little shop vacs, you just ain't living right. Here's all my clover seed. That's probably $120 worth of clover seed this year. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna put half of it in one bin and half in the other. Clover we use is called medium ladino clover. Medium ladino clover is a medium height, about that tall, sometimes about this tall, and it seeds itself back out. The reason we're putting clover on our pastures is solely for nitrogen fixation. These clover patches bring out the other grasses and help the other grasses to grow without fertilizer. There's nitrogen in the air that gets pulled into the ground and helps your pastures grow. So that's what this is all about. Not using fertilizers, not using chemicals, and using nature to pull nitrogen to the soil. Awesome. So what we're gonna do is put down an 80-20 mix and some regular K32 fescue, and I'll explain why the 80-20 mix. So we got two different types of grasses here. We've got Kentucky 32 fescue, tall fescue, which is what we graze our cattle on. We graze them on fescue. A lot of people have a problem with grazing cattle on fescue, but fescue grass is what everybody has around here. Fescue hay is what's desirable. We've got a little bit of broom straw in there, some native grasses, and just all sorts of stuff that the cows eat. We want a multi-species pasture, so this is to establish some coverage on it, but we want native grasses to grow. Now this is a contractor mix 80-20. It's getting to the hot time of year. It's May. June, July, August is the hottest time of the year, the driest time of the year, and we want to put the 80-20 mix. So 80% tall fescue, 20% German foxtail millet, okay? Millet is a tiny seed, almost about the size of a clover seed. That stuff will grow on the sidewalk. You could throw it out in the middle of the road and 2 weeks later it'd be that tall. It will grow anywhere. And the reason we want it to grow is so it'll grow up, get a root hold, and help the fescue establish itself. Now I'm giving it a little bit, I guess will be 10% millet and 90% fescue once I mix this bag in right here. But we've got some areas I've got to seed my pond dam, and I've got to go seed an entire area over here. It's about, I'd say, 75 pounds to the acre is what we're going to do for overseeding. Typically it'd be about 150 pounds to the acre if you were just seeding new pasture. So that's kind of the rate that we're going at, and everything's already set up on this machine. You can set it up to put however much seed you want. There's a lot of science behind it, but we're just throwing seed down and running over probably, I'd say, a 3-acre area. 50-pound bag. I believe this will hold all three 50-pound bags. So we're gonna put one in one side, one in the other, and then we're gonna top it off with fescue. Here's what the seed looks like. The little bitty round ones are the millet, and the bigger, flatter ones are the fescue. Okay, so where are we going on the farm? We are going over to this field directly across from our house, okay? This is a field that we cleared last year. We cleared 50 new acres of pasture last year, man. What a huge, huge undertaking. But that's what you gotta do to grow a farm. We'll probably be fencing this in, and or my permanent house is going to be there. So we're living in a mobile home right now, a 14 by 80 mobile home, as we build the farm. And this is the pasture we just moved the cows out of, and we're headed over to an area that's not quite fenced yet, but it will be fenced pretty soon. Pretty excited. I got work to do. That's what's going on today on the farm on the Stoney Ridge. I just wanted to let you guys know what was going on. Stick around after the credits, you'll get to see the baby chicks. I've got to get this field seeded, so it's going to take me another hour or so. This PSS 72, that's what it's called. It's Woods Precision Super Seeder 72. I believe that means 72 inches wide, but it seems a little wider than that to me. So, guys, thanks a lot. I hope to see you again on the Stoney Ridge Farm. I hope you learned a little bit of something today, and I got work to do. So we'll see you next time on the Stoney Ridge. Don't forget to stay around after the credits to see the baby chicks. See you next time. Woo! Come on down to the Stoney Ridge. Bring your wife and bring your kids. We're living life pure and sweet. That's the way it's supposed to be, Stoney Ridge. These are Cornish cross meat birds from Murray McMurray Hatchery. We move these guys every day. This is a mobile chicken coop made of PVC pipe. This is drain pipe. This is about 10 feet wide by about 12 feet long. It'll house about 35 Cornish cross birds, and we typically will butcher them somewhere around the 6 to 8 week mark. They move throughout the yard every day to a new plot of grass, and they just taste delicious after that. So that's our meat birds for the year. We'll give you more updates when we get ready to have processing day. Thanks a lot, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video.